I want to understand one important thing is, what is red teaming? This is a new buzzword. How to make a career? Is this got changed? Because if you compare about 10 years back, the pen testing is like starting with some ethical hacking pen testing certification, then target goal is OSCP, and then you become a pro, having a sticker of black hat and you become a pen tester. Boom. But what change introduced in last 10 years, and how to make a career in red team if you're talking about in 2025?
So if we are talking about the difference between red teaming and penetration testing, it's the penetration testing. It's actually one of the cycles you do for a software to make sure it's not vulnerable and covering all the attacks. And if you using OWASP, SANS top 25, and internal checklist, like every company now has their own checklist, but they also use the standards. So the red teaming it's different because you are trying to simulate the real world adversaries. Like you attack a network, or you attack an infrastructure, and you don't want to be caught. You have your own R&D, or you just buying the malwares and everything to enhance your operation and etc. So the goal is it's different.
Hi guys, welcome to my session on Coffee with Prabh, and today we have a special guest, Mr. AbuMuslim. So we thrilled to announce our host, Mr. AbuMuslim, who is known as a public speaker, educator, and leading security researcher at the Microsoft AI. And Mohammed is a forefront of building cutting-edge offensive security initiatives at Microsoft Egypt, and with a blend of deep technical expertise and passion for educating the community, he brings invaluable insights and dynamic perspective to every discussion. I'm one of the fan of this person because he do a lot of content on LLM, AI, red teaming, and all that. And I believe there are very few in this world who are working on these initiatives. And glad I made this, and now he's in our podcast. It really honor for us to have him in this podcast. Thanks, Abu, taking out the time in a weekend. I know weekend is a time to give to yourself, but glad you have taken out time to give back to society.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm always happy to share my insights and my experience to everyone.
Thanks, Abu. Abu, before we jump into so today we are actually talking about, red teaming, LLM hacking, AI security, and working in FANGs, what we say. But before I jump into that, I want to understand one important thing is, what is red teaming? This is a new buzzword, and how it is different from pen testing. And as the second thing is that how to make a career. Is this got changed? Because if you compare about 10 years back, the pen testing is like starting with some ethical hacking pen testing certification, then target goal is OSCP, and then you become a pro, having a sticker of black hat and you become a pen tester. Boom. But what change introduced in last 10 years, and how to make a career in red team if you're talking about in 2025 in a cost effective manner?
Okay, so there is major changes in the industry, and specifically like the last 2 or 3 years, everything is going very fast. So if we are talking about the difference between red teaming and penetration testing, it's the penetration testing. It's actually one of the cycles you do for a software to make sure it's not vulnerable and covering all the attacks. And if you using OWASP, SANS top 25, and internal checklist, like every company now has their own checklist, but they also use the standards. And also it's not only the software, like it's the networks, the OT, industrial, machines and everything. So this is the pen testing. It's the three ways of pen testing, or the different methodologies: the black box, the white box, the gray box. It depends on what access you have. You just attack the application without knowing anything about it, or you just know slightly small information about it. Maybe you have the source code. So this is the difference between the three types of pen testing. So the red teaming it's different because you are trying to simulate the real world adversaries. Like you attack a network, or you attack an infrastructure, and you don't want to be caught. You have your own R&D, or you just buying the malwares and everything to enhance your operation and etc. So the goal is, it's different. Some companies, they just want you to simulate if you can actually get access to their infrastructure, and it depends on the objectives, and what the stakeholders want from the operation. And
Mm,
this is actually changing every time, because it's about the awareness. Like, you clients getting aware of the red team, and it's different, different maturity level. So about the infrastructure, so if your infrastructure is very mature, so your objective has changed. So the goal is to achieve the object, or just simulating an adversary you saw on the internet. Some ABT happened, and you want to emulate it in your infrastructure to make sure, if this happened to you, you are not gonna face the same consequences as the
what the competitor has faced or other
yeah,
competitors has faced. Yeah.
like Logbet, Lazarus, every
Hmm.
famous APT. So you are trying to emulate this in your infrastructure, and also the simulation is different. As I said, like the consultation companies doing this, they have their own R&D, or they purchase the tradecraft, like the full development of it,
Hmm.
to enhance the operation, do it correctly.
That's great. And if we talk about, as you can see, in last 10 years, there's a lot of
Hmm.
change introduced in offensive security to become a OffSec professional. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Abu, like, what is the skill set? If I want to start a career in OffSec red teaming,
Hmm.
so how to start? There should be a step one, there should be step two. Instead of
Yeah.
directly jumping into the tool and start learning based on YouTube videos, or
Hmm.
do you have any recommendation here?
Okay, so it's when it comes to starting the career, it's everyone has different perspective and different methodology,
Hmm.
but the essentials you need to know, like you need to understand the computer science.
Hmm.
So, for us, the computer was new, so we were obligated to learn about computers. So, and this time, computer science, it's everyone can know about it online, without a degree, or without going into any school or anything. You just can, CS50 from Harvard. It's publicly available, and you can learn about computer science. Once you learn about computer science, you need to understand what is security,
Okay.
like a fundamental of security, and discover the different jobs of security. And then, if you just decided to start your career in red teaming, you can just start in red teaming. Like, it's you need to have experience with penetration testing, and like hands-on, breaking applications and breaking networks and infrastructure. And then you can escalate your skills to be in the red teaming, because red
Hmm.
teaming mistakes, you need to lower the rate of mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to get caught. You don't need, you need to know more about the infrastructure, why these tools can be noisy and can actually, be the reason that you are
Hmm.
caught in the network. Like, the scripts everyone is running on the pen testing, it's very noisy. You send like thousands of requests, using like the 50 thread or anything. Just you don't do this in red teaming. You just do it in pen testing to understand when what happens. And you actually, people doesn't use Wireshark to see actually what is happening in the background.
Hmm.
Like, if you use this tool, what is happening. So when you understand this, you can actually go into the red teaming, because you have to know how to hide your traffic, what is the protocols you should use, to for the abusing, and how you move laterally from, device to device, from user to user, and make sure that your activity is not doing, any alerts. Like it's like a very advanced techniques, and everyone is talking about, all over the internet. You can find the blogs from, MDSec, Trusted Sec. They always talk about Red Team, Black Hills, infosec. Everyone is sharing the methodologies, like, how you can use this tool to do the recon without getting directly interacting with the company, like a passive
Hmm.
reconnaissance,
Hmm.
and so on. So it's like a journey. You
Hmm.
can't jump, the stairs. You
Okay.
should go stair by stair, and everyone now is, everyone want to rush, like jumping. Okay, I want to be a red
OffSec.
team, and yeah, it's small steps. You need to be, uh, very calm, and just, trust the process.
Okay. And now you can see the era of coming is AI. There is an era
Yeah.
of LLM. So how do
Mhm.
you see the convergence of traditional red teaming operations and emerging LLM or AI driven threats reshaping, you can say, the approach to the cybersecurity? If I take in layman term, it means
Mhm.
red teaming initially has been done on infrastructure, or we're talking about in the application. Now, a lot of companies are adopting AI, and
Mhm.
red teamers also using AI.
Mm.
So, uh, how do you see the convergence of this traditional red team operations and emerging of LLM or AI, which is driving a threats or driven a threats reshaping the approach to cybersecurity?
Okay, so there are many usage of LLMs into the red teaming. Like when
Hmm.
it comes to, like, managing your recon after doing recon, and
Hmm.
the knowing the assets and everything about the target you are doing the operation on. And there is, someone in Trusted Sec lately published a blog about RAG system. If you have,
Hmm.
like, internal RAG having your documents and everything, you can actually ask it to, like a certain IB, a certain server, a certain version of service. So this is actually one of the challenges, like, organizing your information about the target. It's messy. Like, if you are targeting a large organization, you should have, like, everything about it, just, you know going through Obsidian or Notion or anything you use. And it's time consuming.
Okay.
So using LLMs actually help to reduce the time into this. And also, like, there is someone actually released the tool, when you can actually do a prompt to generate your malware and
Okay.
generate your payload.
Okay.
So, but it's not like a major change to the red team. Like,
Hmm.
for now, it's not the change that happened in every field.
Hmm.
Like, red teaming, it's very sensitive to use LLM. Like, I heard someone talking about using agents
Hmm.
in pen testing and threat teaming and stuff
Hmm.
like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's not actually very convenient for me. Like,
But
you
do you think so? It is effective to use. How effective is the agents to be used or predefined LLM which is available in the market?
like to use it in pen testing.
Yeah, red teamers. Yeah.
Okay, so if we are talking about, penetration testing, there is some guys actually working on products to automate the known
Yeah, beast. We
vulnerabilities,
have a
like.
beast attack simulation tools and all that.
Yeah, it's doing good in this aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't cover the whole application, but it can save you time. Like, the traditional automation, like using purpose scanner and everything. So we just enhance it using LLMs.
Okay.
But it can't be covering the whole application, but you use it to reduce the time consumed in some of the vulnerabilities. Like the vulnerabilities, you need to try like more test cases, the injections, you need to try like hundreds of payloads and
Hmm.
everything. So LLMs actually, you know, does great job in this. And
So,
also when it comes to red teaming, n- I I didn't hear about anyone using LLM and like taking a charge and red teaming, like using an agent and stuff like this.
hmm.
It's more used on the organization side. Like you are organizing
Hmm.
your documents, generating your payloads. Maybe
Hmm.
you are generating you can actually do the red teaming infrastructure now with a one click. Like if we are talking about generating scripts to automate your redirectors and automate your whole infrastructure. Yeah, LLMs actually helps in do this in doing this.
And Abu, like, there is a always regarding, the key elements that we
Mhm.
basically focus on during red team simulations. Okay, when we say to mimic the real world adversary effectively. So
Mhm.
how do we see from AI perspective? Because AI is something new. I
Okay.
know MITRE attack framework was introduced for AI and all that, and we completely agree with
Mhm.
that. But how are red teamers, or when you guys do assessments and all that, how do you stay updated? Because this technology itself is new.
Yeah.
So can you just share some insight on this with any case study that you have encountered, that how you updated your knowledge with the new
Mhm.
adversary perspective when you're doing an assessment for the AI, for
Okay,
LLM?
so yeah, AI red teaming is different from the traditional red teaming, as in AI red teaming you are targeting the model, and you need to understand about machine learning and how it works and stuff
Mhm,
like this.
mhm, mhm,
And also it's a new field like for us, but the
mhm.
machine learning security actually is here for 2 decades, like from
Agree.
20 years ago. Like everyone was working on it, but it didn't have the same focus as now. Like after GPT, after
Hmm,
GPT, everything became like, AI, I'm using this, I'm doing that, and stuff like this.
hmm,
So, and also it's taken, a major difference in business. Like
hmm,
when it comes to business, every company now want to create their own LLM, and
hmm.
as you can see, the competition is
Okay.
everywhere. So we actually there is many research about the attacking models, and mostly the work is reading papers. You
Hmm,
read the papers and you try to replicate these attacks.
hmm.
So you have like 200 tabs and you are trying to filter which one is useful to you and which one is not, and you are trying to follow up with the industry leaders in this specific area about what they share in the conferences, maybe repos on GitHub, and you try to tweak this and to learn how they did it, and also to come with a new attack vector, your own. Like you do
Hmm,
your own research also
hmm.
based on someone else's research.
So how do you do research? Do you want to
Mhm.
share any viewpoint to the people, the people who watching this podcast, if they want to do the research
Mhm.
in a similar fashion? Do you recommend any resources? Do you recommend any websites, or do you have any in mind? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, there is a website,
Hmm,
llmsecurity.net.
hmm,
This one has like tons of resources about LLM,
hmm,
and you can now download any open source LLM on your computer
hmm,
using VM. There is now like small models you can
hmm,
use even if you have like small amount of memory in
hmm,
in your PC and
hmm,
or your laptop.
hmm.
So you can actually do this and start playing with LLM. Like
Okay.
you start attacking the model, you're trying to understand how it works, and it happens in in every field, like every new technology, and also the old technologies.
Hmm,
Like till now, people actually start researching on Active Directory attacks.
AD pen testing still survive.
Yeah, so how they do this? Like they download the Windows server, they start, doing their own labs, like the famous game of Active Directory. Everyone knows about it. You can actually, use it to research on Active Directory. So this is the basic concept of hacking. Like you need to understand how this thing actually was built
Mhm.
and how you can crack it and build it again.
Excellent. And do you like if I want to do one red teaming and assessment on AI?
Okay.
So what is the steps? Like, so normally what happen when you're talking
Hmm.
about, I don't want to go in practical, but at least from this podcast, they get an insight. So normally
Sure,
in
yeah.
pen testing, is we say
Hmm.
we do recon. We get the
Okay.
IP, then we try to do footprinting, scanning, then we
Hmm.
get the open ports, we do the OS fingerprinting, then we try to assess the exploits, then we
Okay.
do pen test, we do lateral movement. Okay, we know in the infrastructure levels. Sometimes we
Okay.
do the web based on IP. So how
Hmm.
how how the red teamers doing an assessment on the AI solutions?
Okay. So if we are talking about, the a small product like a chatbot, you need to understand everything, like what we are going to use, like in the model itself, like it's text to text, maybe image to text, text to image, the operation of the model itself and the capabilities. When you do this and you understand it, you start doing the threat modeling of this, like everything have, the same methodology about the threat modeling. So how you can actually inject the text going into the LLM,
Hmm,
how you can inject the image going to the LLM, maybe how can you inject the voice going into the LLM.
hmm,
Like, if the voice, for example, you can do, the operation for detectors. Like we have the voice authenticators,
hmm,
like, some companies use it to verify your identity. So how we can attack this? Like
hmm,
if it's based on machine learning. So how you can attack this? So you are trying to copy your voice and try to replicate it to match the original one and to see if it can detect it or not. So this is one of the examples. And also for the text, you try the prompt injections, trying to leak anything in the system prompts. Maybe if the model have access to, repos like GitHub, you try actually to attack GitHub through the model. Like if the model, needs to authenticate using to use GitHub, so maybe you can actually steal all the sessions the model has because there is no access control. So it's about, imagining the threats. Like you,
hmm,
you you have the whole architecture of the product,
hmm,
and you are trying to see the attacks. And also it depends on the experience, and it depends on the understanding of the technologies. Like if you're understanding the technologies, what is used for authentication, and how it, how the user authenticate, and the token goes to the back end and stuff, the basic stuff of pen testing.
hmm.
So you can actually come with an attack. And also there is a good blog I recommend for to have like a uh, you know to see the vulnerabilities. It's called Embrace the Red Team.
Praise the red team. Okay.
Yeah. This guy, he is he's eating LLMs for breakfast. I love
Seriously.
him. Yeah, he
we
he
we
is.
having a dinner right now.
Yeah, he's attacking everything, like,
Uh,
ChatGPT, Gemini,
uh,
everything, and he's actually doing this every day. So this is one of the good resources if you want to see how these guys actually attack LLM's product. And it's not only the machine learning. So it
okay.
it it goes outside this circle also. Like how can you use other technologies and abuse the model
Hmm.
capabilities to attack for you? Like you are using it to attack another product or another technology.
That's great, Abu. Abu, like when you're talking about now, I want to discuss about something regarding the regarding a Fank. So
Okay.
for a professional who actually aiming to work in the FANG companies, okay, or corporate companies, what are the key technical and soft skills should be they focus on, which make them to, or you can say, stand out in the
Hmm.
competitive field of AI or cybersecurity?
Okay.
Because you're already
So
working in one of the established company, Microsoft. So
yeah.
a lot of people are aiming for jobs in big companies. Okay.
Mhm.
So what is your perspective on that?
Okay, so through what I saw in doing interviews, it's one of the essentials of working in FANGs or big corporates.
Hmm.
You need to understand the flow of and the flow of having a software, like the
Hmm.
software engineering, the cycles, how it goes, how it works, and dealing with cross-functional teams, like how can you communicate with others not in your profession.
Hmm.
Like me, when you are talking to someone in security and you are trying to explain like a chain of two vulnerabilities, and getting account takeover, it's easy to talk to someone in the same profession. But when you talk to someone not in your profession, maybe someone is not technical at all, and you are trying uh, to explain what have you found and everything, and trying to talk the same language. If you're
Hmm.
talking to someone has a business role, you need to like tweak your explanation into the business. So
Hmm.
this is also in the consultation, but it's more in the corporate world, when it comes to understanding how actually product is built,
Okay.
because you will be part of this. Like
Hmm.
when you join any company that they are working on products, you will be part of this product. So
Hmm.
you need to understand how actually they build the products, what is essentials and what is not, and how you actually treat security in this manners.
Hmm.
So it's a mix of technical skills and soft skills. But if we are talking about which is more important, is the communication,
Hmm.
like communicating with other people. And this is like 20 percentage of the work you're doing.
Hmm.
Like 20% of your work is communicating with others.
Okay. And it's not about English, but it's all about how you communicate your statements, right?
Yeah, yeah, you
Hmm.
communicate to others,
Okay.
and it's teamwork and teams work. It's not only one team, because you talk with everyone working on a product,
Hmm.
and the products are massive, so there are many teams you need to communicate with.
Excellent. And in your experience, how can Red Team leverage AI both as a tool and as a
Mhm.
threat to enhance the security practice? And what are the ethical considerations they should involve?
Okay, so as we discussed the usage of AI for red teaming,
Hmm.
and how folks actually use it. So when it comes to using AI actually to enhance the
Mm-hmm.
operations, we can use it in the boring stuff, like like documenting. Documenting is, it's one of the things are, it's boring for us, like for technical guys.
Okay.
Yeah, and so AI is very helpful in this, like using it for documentation,
Uh-huh.
automating the reporting and everything. And also you can use AI now for, you can actually talk to someone like the AI
Hmm.
to just do your framework, the framework you are using every day into your job, and you are not obligated to write a code, and you are not obligated to use the same thing
Hmm.
every day. So you just use you know one of the products. You just ask for, I want framework consist of one, two, three, doing this, doing that, and the
Hmm.
output should be in this. like in this form.
Hmm.
So it's it's nice to use AI in those things.
That's basically great. And when it comes to this is a bit slightly off the topic question, but I thought I will ask you.
Hmm.
And thanks
Okay.
for for sharing the insight on the AI based usage and all that. And with that continuous, I have one question here. Is in AI, a lot of enterprise are facing issue with data poisoning.
Okay.
So how do you approach the challenge of data poisoning and adversarial attacks
Hmm.
on AI models? And uh, definitely, if enterprise facing data poisoning,
Hmm.
red teamers also facing a data poisoning to make sure they're using the right exploit to assess the AI. So,
Okay.
how do you see this approach, and how do you manage this challenge of data poisoning?
Okay. So if we are talking about the platform security that actually handles this part of AI security, so it's the regular security, like the regular infrastructure security. If you are using Azure,
Hmm,
so it's cloud security. So you need to review the permissions, you need to audit, you need to see the data flow,
hmm,
and it's the same process as any kind of security happens on cloud.
hmm,
And also in the model itself, like you should have like a filtration. What should I accept from the user and what I shouldn't accept from the user. And
agree.
also it depends on classifiers. But it's like a cat and mice game. Like
Hmm,
like evasion. If you are, today I can bypass like X EDR. Tomorrow I can't bypass it, but the day after I come with, with another payload that I can bypass
agree.
the EDR. So it's the same. Like you are trying to enhance this, but data poisoning, it's not easy.
Hmm,
It's not very easy to poison a model because the what happens in the back end.
hmm,
So it maybe it happens to like the early version,
yeah,
the beta version maybe,
yeah.
if they are not taking consideration into the security and how they handle the information coming from the user,
Hmm,
and how they handle it in the back end, is there is filtration or not.
hmm,
So it happens, but it's not easy. And also, if it's great to mention one of the attacks to through using models.
hmm.
It's like a supply chain attack. Like
Okay.
uh, someone actually like 1 week ago
Hmm.
was hosting a model on Hugging Face, and this model actually containing a backdoor.
Okay.
Okay. So this is one of the challenges you face. Like you download the model
Hmm,
and you are using the model and someone actually inside your network and you don't know. And this is because the serialization
hmm.
or the pickle files, this also can poison your data. Like you are waiting for some responses, but someone in the middle,
Uh,
feeding you with another data
yeah.
and poison your data. So yeah, it's every day.
Data poisoning will be the nightmare in
Yeah.
society. Let's just mention who is your dad, who is your mother, and giving a different information.
Yeah, and also it's if someone crazy enough to launch an attack to poison the data, maybe he
Hmm,
can like, having like dozens of websites
hmm,
and with a good SEO, and
hmm,
this website maybe websites saying a false information about maybe an event happened, maybe an incident,
hmm,
and what LLMs does do in this manner when you are trying to get information outside their data set,
hmm.
just searching on the internet, so they came to you with a false information. But yeah,
That is possible.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
And Mohammed, like, thanks for the sharing that the insight on the data poisoning. And
Mhm.
how easy for the any offensive expert to do the data poisoning, especially when it comes to the enterprise AIs like Google
Mhm.
AI or ChatGPT and all that. Do you think so?
Yeah,
It's easy?
it's not easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
easy, and also to if you are trying to test,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a manual test. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are doing manual test to this, it will take forever.
Okay.
You can use a model to attack a model. Like
Okay.
you are hosting your own model,
Uh,
and you have your own prompts and scoring system and etc. And attacking another model to doing the assess to do the assessment
mm,
if you are doing this in AI red team.
mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, in data poisoning, it's not easy. It's
Mm,
not easy to poison a model. Yeah,
mm. But in the pen
like
testing requirement, we consider this also data poisoning assessment.
in pen testing.
In a red teaming, like do we add this in a
Yeah,
checklist that we have to add the data poisoning assessment and all that?
yeah, it's one of the attack vectors you're gonna try, but it
Mm,
depends on the product size.
okay.
And if it's very big
Mm,
product,
mm,
it's not easy to do this because the faces they
mm,
have for the data,
mm,
it will be having like access controls and filtration and everything. But maybe if someone like using a model, and this
mm,
model have like their own system prompts,
mm,
and
mm,
you can actually poison those system prompts, like
mm,
injecting your own
mm,
system prompts. And this actually can you can see this in one of the examples. Actually, Johan mentioned in Embrace the Rat
mm,
Team blog. You can see he injected like many big models, but
mm,
in the earlier versions, because
mm,
it was new and
mm.
people just trying to understand what possibly could go wrong.
Okay. And if I ask your opinion, a
Mhm.
five attack vectors against AI,
Mhm.
what are those five vectors? Let's I want what five parameters, or sorry, not parameters, or you can say
Mhm.
attack surface, input points to get hack AI systems or do
Okay.
the what is your viewpoint on that? What do you think? What are the top five attack factors we can consider to penetrate the AI?
Okay, so the most famous one is the prompt injection.
Fine.
Like this is the most famous one, and
Hmm.
also it's like the direct prompt injection and the indirect prompt injection,
Hmm.
and also the prompt leakage. If you can leak
Hmm.
actually the system prompts and the prompts they have in the back end.
Hmm.
And also this happens because of some of the hallucination.
Okay.
Like the hallucination is actually one of the vulnerabilities came from the machine learning security. Like the machine learning folks, when they are trying to make sure of the model reliability, they do the hallucination test. So they are trying to see when the models actually hallucinate and reach the trying to say some stuff actually not true about maybe advices. Like some of the big models actually said you can cigarettes are good for your health, and
Yeah.
stuff like this. So they do the testing for this also. And also the model backdooring, as we mentioned.
Hmm.
This is one of the attack vectors you can actually see. And there is the scanner. I can't recall the name, but it does the scanning for the vehicle files to be sure of what the files are used in the model.
Mm-hmm.
Also the data poisoning, as you mentioned. And also if like
Mm-hmm.
third party attacks for the plugins. If there is plugins used in this LLMs, it actually increase the attack surface and you can attack it through the LLM. And also there is many injections, like the prompt injections. Actually, it's there is variety of prompt injection. You can make a phishing link through LLM. It can help you to to achieve one of the malware development stuff, and it's considered like from the AI ethical
Hmm.
terms. It should be like it shouldn't be help you in creating malware, because
Okay.
it increases the threat. Like if someone actually can't write a malware, so here, yeah, we have the AI to help you in doing this.
That's great, Abu. And I think because the reason is in one of my projects, we're talking about this control list and all that. So thanks, and I'm sure it will be very great insight for me to use in my assessment. And thanks, Abu. And it's really great to have a session with you where I got a great insight on AI and cyber. And can we have one more session which talk about practical assessment end to end on red teaming with AI approach?
Yeah, yeah, sure. We can coordinate on this. Yeah.
Thanks, Abu. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Do you have any last minute pointer you want to share with the people who watching this podcast?
Yeah, actually, one advice is to start
Hmm.
and never look for the best way,
Okay.
because there is no best way. Everyone has their own way into
Hmm.
the learning,
Hmm.
testing, and everything, and this is what makes everyone unique and
Hmm.
different. So you need to start and stop asking about the best way to do XYZ.
Hmm. And there is one question I wish I can discuss that if
Hmm.
you allow me. What do you think? What is the now 2025 career aspects we can see for cyber with AI with red teaming approach?
Okay, so you are asking about the effect of AI or
No.
the
The upskilling,
okay.
what the future red teamers need to have,
Hmm.
because now they're going to see 80 to 90% of AI operations and all that. So, what do you think? What are the future skills need to required for red teamers when they're doing an
Hmm.
assessment?
Yeah, actually, the skill set is every year it's going up. Like the requirements are crazy now. Like
Hmm.
it's you need to know like dozens of stuff to be able to land the job now. If
Hmm.
if we are talking about someone senior level and want to work in red teaming, you need to know about the malware development. You need to know the pen testing, how you can do penetration testing, and also understand the red team and how you can actually operate inside an operation. And also, one of the things you should have as a red teamer is the critical thinking and the
Hmm.
problem solving, like
Hmm.
how you can actually come with an idea when you hit a wall. Like, when you hit a wall in an operation, we do the brainstorming, and someone come with a crazy idea. No one actually thought about it before, and this happens also. So yeah, like the requirements are tough, and it's a thing we can't control, but the competition is high everywhere. Like it's not depending on a region now. Like if we are talking about Egypt, Middle East, Asia, Europe, US, the competition is crazy, and requirements are high, but don't stop learning.
Thanks, Abu, and thank you for sharing a great insight on the red teaming assessment with AI approach. And thank you for coming and taking out the time in a weekend. And we really appreciate for the efforts that you're doing on the AI red teaming and assessment. And keep doing that. Keep inspiring us.
Thank you.
Which and make us more more work to do. Okay, this guy is doing this much, so we should do more. And we're looking forward for more podcasts on that, Abu.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me.
Thank you, Abu. And we're looking forward for future sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day. Bye.
Bye.